Hello friends, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be giving you my review of the Ciate London Watermelon Burst Hydrating Primer. I am sure I received this in an Ipsy bag at some point. I don't remember at this point which month it was, but I have been testing this over the last week or so with different foundations, doing half-face tests, so that I could tell you exactly what I think of this primer, and I do have strong thoughts about this primer. What I'm going to do in today's video is tell you a little bit more about the claims of this primer, what it is, what is maybe in here or not in here that you would want to know about. I am then going to show me applying the product to sort of tell you about the experience of it, and then give you my review at the end. I'm not going to talk too much about Ciate London. I've done that before. I reviewed a number of their products, so I will link to my other videos for Ciate London down below. I will say that I have a fairly positive opinion of Ciate London. For so many of their products that I have tried, I have really found that I've enjoyed them, and I'm surprised that I feel like we don't hear more about them, and I don't know if that's because they're not kind of one of those front and center drugstore or Sephora brands, but they make some pretty strong products. And let's talk about this one because it's definitely an interesting little product. So obviously this is a sample right here. I don't even know, God, who puts white writing on a pink product? I cannot. Well, actually I can. Okay, so there is 0.34 fluid ounces in here. But if you buy a full size, you are going to be getting 1.35 fluid ounces. So about a third more than you would usually get in a foundation container. And if you buy that here in Canada, you're likely to be buying it through Sephora, and it will be costing you $34 Canadian, which is a really good price for a primer at Sephora. Like if you look at drugstore primers, you're probably paying about $15 to $20 Canadian there. And usually when you go into Sephora for primers, you're looking in more of the $40 to $50 range. So $34 actually sounds like a little bit of a, I don't want to say bargain, but it's not going to knock your socks off in the same way a number of products at Sephora do. And I mean that just in terms of price, not that the product isn't good. You know what I mean. This product is described as a lightweight multitasking primer to hydrate, brighten, and improve skin's texture, all while prepping for long-lasting makeup. They highlight that this product contains watermelon extract, hyaluronic acid, and vitamin E, and that is free of sulfates, SLS, and SLES, and parabens, and it also is vegan, cruelty-free, and gluten-free. About this product, it also says, instantly refresh and hydrate before makeup application with watermelon serum primer, featuring watermelon extract droplets that activate upon contact to quench and energize the skin. The silky, cooling pink base actively brightens while refining pores and texture. Delicately watermelon scented, this unique aqua serum primer grips foundation for long wear and that just applied glow. You put it on like any primer, except they do specify that you need to burst the little watermelon seeds in here. So you'll see it when I do the demo, but if you see all those black spots in there, those actually do come out and onto your skin. So you do need to rub those in to break them open and activate them. In looking at the ingredients on here, there is one thing that I want to alert you to. I know a number of people are sensitive to fragrance, and there is fragrance in this product. More interestingly is that usually when I look for does this product have fragrance, I go right down to the end of the ingredient list because usually only a little bit of fragrance is in there. So when I opened up the, very long ingredient list that's here, I was looking at the bottom of the list, I'm like, oh, I don't see fragrance anywhere. And then I realized it is actually like halfway through the ingredient list. And I'm sure most of you know this, but ingredient lists don't tell you the exact amount of what's in it, but it's always listed from the ingredient that is present the most in the product to the least. So the fact that fragrance is in the middle, this has, it seems, more fragrance in it than products usually have that are like a fragranced primer or foundation. When you look at the active ingredients in here that are close to the top, there is those smoothing ingredients like glycerin, but there's also witch hazel in here as like the fourth ingredient. So that's one of their more active products. And one of the ingredients that they mention as being active in here, which is the watermelon extract, is actually lower on the list than the fragrance. There is less watermelon extract than there is fragrance in here. I've also mentioned on this channel before that I don't have a reaction to fragrance. It doesn't seem to bother my skin, or at least most of the ones that I try, it doesn't. So in watching this review, just know that it doesn't bother me, but if it irritates your skin, this may not be the product for you. With that being said, let us go into me applying this so you can see sort of the experience of what it's like. I have no makeup on, so let's zoom in and put on the primer. So it's a pretty gel-like texture, and you can sort of see in there the little black dots, and those do come out and you sort of have to rub them to get them to burst on your face. I do find that part pretty gimmicky, and I apologize for the big pimple that I have right there. It's a little distracting. Now, I'll show you how watery and gel-like this is. Let me just get some of it out here. So there it is on my finger, and you can see how it's running down my finger and how clear and gel-like it is. But I actually didn't get one of the little black dots out, so let me do that so I can show you. There's one right there. So you can see the little black dot on my skin, and you just sort of need to rub it a little bit, and you can see there it started to burst, and then it sort of rubs in. So let me get this dispersed on my face. It has, I mean, I really like the watermelon scent to it, but it is a fragrance that is doing that. And this goes on like a gel. It has a little bit of a silicone slip to it, but it almost feels like it is hydrating. It is making my face feel tacky, like my foundation is going to go on and stay. Like, can you hear that? That sort of tackiness sound. So to me, this does a little bit of smoothing, some pore filling, but really it's that tackiness aspect of it. Not sticky, but just it feels like it's going to grip onto my foundation. And I mean, it's the middle of winter, and I know some people don't like fragrance, but if you do like fragrance, it's kind of nice having that like watermelon scent, because it just feels so fresh and spring-like. And right now I cannot smell it. Like, you get a burst of it right away when you put on the primer, but then it's not a scent that hangs around at all. Okay, I'm gonna go on with putting on the rest of my makeup. I'm going to be using this CoverGirl Outlast Active 24-Hour Foundation. If you have not yet tried this, I do have a review in it. I will link it down below. This is, like, at this point, my favorite drugstore foundation, and it looks beautiful with this primer. I'll be right back. So here I am with the makeup on. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see, but everything is really nicely smooth. You can't, like, my pores have been minimized. Everything looks really natural and not cakey at all. And everything has applied very well on top of the primer. So I started to allude in that application to something that I find is, let me just say this right off the bat, is I really like this primer, and I do find that it pairs really well with that CoverGirl Active foundation, but it did good things for all the foundations that I used it with. It doesn't make your skin feel heavy at all. It doesn't make the products cakey. They go on really smooth, but even more so, more than most primers that I try, I find this keeps my makeup looking good all day. So I felt like I was having really good makeup days when I was wearing this, and what really drove it home for me is on Thursday of last week, during the week that I was testing this, I had an important meeting at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And usually when I have an important meeting later on in the day, I will take with me some products to be able to refresh my makeup a little bit. So I usually take along some kind of setting spray or mist, so if my foundation or makeup is starting to look a little cakey, I can give it a spritz. And then I also bring along some powder so that I can sort of set that down, and it just kind of refreshes everything again, maybe gives me a little bit more coverage and takes down any cakiness that might be there. So I did my makeup at like 7:30 in the morning, walked to work, went through work, and then was getting ready to go to this meeting at 3. And I went into the bathroom and looked at myself and thought, like my makeup still looks really, really good. And usually that's not my experience. Like, you know, I guess how long would that be? Like 7 hours into the wear time of my makeup. Usually it needs a bit of refreshing, but I found that this paired with that CoverGirl, everything was still looking like I had coverage. It was smooth, it wasn't cakey, it did not look oily in any way. It doesn't say this is oil controlling at all, but it also seemed to just really have a nice balance for my skin. It wasn't looking dry and it wasn't looking oily. Everything was just looking really good. So I am going to keep using this as my primer because this may now be kind of my go-to primer. And I was really excited to see after testing it for a week and deciding that I really liked it, that it's not a crazy price. It's actually sold out right now on Sephora's website here in Canada, which leads me to believe I'm not the only one who quite enjoys this primer. I will be keeping an eye out for it to come back into stock again once I run through this one. Although honestly, I'm usually testing primers and different things, so it's very unlikely that I actually get to repurchase something, but this would be one that I would definitely look at repurchasing. I really enjoyed it. Yes, the little black dots that burst are gimmicky, but it doesn't take away from the experience at all. For me, it doesn't add to the experience, but it doesn't take away from the product either. Gimmicky can be a little annoying if it doesn't make the product better or even takes away from it. This one, there's a little bit of gimmickiness, but it's fine. But yeah, for me, this is super positive experience. Really liked it, really liked what it did to my makeup, and I'm looking forward to continue using this. This is one of these times where it's like, I don't even want to move on to testing the next product. So if I now have days where I want them to be really good makeup days, this is going to be going into the regular rotation for that. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope it helped you decide if you wanted to try this product. Let me know if you've tried it, what your experience has been. I'll leave all of that in the comments down below. I promise you I read every comment, even if I don't get a chance to respond, and I'm hoping to be able to catch up on comments a little bit over the holidays, but I appreciate them so much. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!